Welcome, healthy friends, to another episode of The Reality of Health. I'm so glad you are here. It's one of my favorite subjects, and I get to actually talk about it. And maybe you actually want to listen. Well, I said last episode that we're going to talk about filtering water and, cleaning your water and how to do it or how you should consume your water. Gonna have fun. I hope you do too. It's so much fun to talk about this topic. Maybe you might learn some cool stuff. I don't know. There's so many things I can say. I'm just gonna try and keep it somewhat condensed. This could be a very long episode. Those of you who have followed me know that water is pretty serious in my quest for health and what I think you should also worry about. So much so that I believe it's the basis for your health because you are a water structure being. If you know anything about structured water or any of the other philosophies following such water theories, you'll know that if you're made up of all this water they always say, well, what kind of water? And how do you put it in you? We're going to explore that a little bit. I love this topic. I hope you do too. It's the foundation of life next to air. Water before food, air before water. Well, we all think that this is clean water. Here we have a picture of a whole lot of bottled water. And I will tell you that all of these, not very good. This one of all of these, being Penta, is the best. This stuff is made so quickly and consumed so quickly that there's no plastic in the bottle. The rest of these, made so far ahead of time, tons of leached plastics and PFAS, PFAS you may have heard of, but they're not good waters to begin with. Some of them taste terrible. But I don't want you to think that this is good water. But this is a huge disclaimer. Most of these, in most cases, are better than tap water. Tap water, we're going to get into it. But most of these are not that bad. They're just expensive. And you got to carry them into the house or get them delivered, or it's just heavy. And the bottles aren't very good for the most part. There's a whole lot of problems. So what if I could simplify your life and then you have control of what you're consuming? Because ultimately, health comes down to your control of what you put into your body. Yeah, that's basically a really good way to say that. I live in Royal Oak, Michigan. This is a quality report of where I live from, what the heck is that called again? I forgot. Anyway, EWG. And their environmental working group, yes, that's it. They conducted a report and 12 contaminants that they detected were above even the worst standards in the industry. But we had a total of 19 contaminants. This is crazy. Watch this. And by the way, real quick, legal limits for contaminants in tap water have not been updated in almost 20 years. Do you think anything's changed in the last 20 years? Yes, it has. So look at these. And for the people who live in my area, this is true for almost all of them because our water source is, it takes up a whole county and bigger areas than that. So look at your stuff. You can go here and put in your zip code and see what's going on. Now, these are only a small portion. There's other ways to find out the total amount of chemicals and contaminants and sediments and pharmaceutical drugs and hormones, and it just goes on and on in the water. But this is just a quick example. All right, so we have 75 times the amount of that, 123 times the amount of that, 37 times of chloroform. So you're telling me we have 37 times the amount of allowable chloroform in my tap water? Wait a minute. I thought chloroform we used to use to put people asleep so that we could do surgery or knock them out for whatever. Why is it in our water? You see where I'm going with this. And we can go on, but notice these two right here. Haloacetic acids, number 5 and number 9. You know what those are? Those are chlorine. Why do you need 395 times what the environmental working group's allowable amount to be in our water? Why is that there? Let's think about that one for a second. Because there's stuff in our water that if you don't kill it with chlorine, that's what that is, it's going to make you feel really, really bad. It's bad enough that all these other ones are in there, but almost 400 times what they consider to be the base minimum of what you should be getting in your, which you shouldn't get any at all, but that's okay. And notice this one, trihalomethanes at 177 times what they believe is acceptable for a human to consume. What does your report look like? Because this is crazy. And I just want to say, this is only 12. This is not all of the contaminants. There are reports dating back to the 80s of over 30,000 known contaminants in tap water. I'm going to show you, I know this is crazy. I'm going to show you how they don't want to say all that. So websites actually hold back telling you what's actually in there. We'll get into it. This is nuts. I had to pull this one up for you. So this is the United States Geological Society. Tap water study detects PFAS, forever chemicals, across the U.S. I'm going to read this to you. At least 45% of the nation's tap water is estimated to have one or more types of the chemicals known as per and polyfluorinated alkyl substances, or PFAS, according to a new study by the U.S. Geological Survey. There are more than 12,000 types of PFAS. Did you hear that? Not all of which can be detected with current tests. Oh boy. The USGS study tested for the presence of 32 types. 32? There are more than 12,000. And you're saying that at least 45% of the nation's tap water has too many of these. And then you say that we only test for 32. Well, why are you testing for 32 and not all 12,000? Oh, because there's so many, you can't actually test for them. So who has the real information? I don't know. This is just a minor amount of tested info from the United States government. I am so frustrated about this. You're showering in this every day. You're brushing your teeth in it. Some of you are drinking it. You're bathing in it, like in a bath. You wash your hands in it. What are PFAS? Per and polyfluoroalkyl substances are chemicals that resist grease, oil, water, and heat. They were first used in the 1940s and are now in hundreds of products. I would be willing to say it's more than hundreds, including stain and water-resistant fabrics and carpeting, cleaning products, paints, and fire-fighting foams. Certain PFAS are also authorized by the FDA for limited use in cookware, food packaging, and food processing equipment. This is why I tell you, don't eat packaged processed foods. You're eating this stuff, literally. Chemically, individual PFAS can be very different. However, all have a carbon-fluorine bond. Yeah, that's fluorine as in fluoride, which is very strong, and therefore they do not degrade easily, which means they stay around for a very long time. The widespread use of PFAS and their persistence in the environment means that PFAS from past and current uses have resulted in increasing levels of contamination of the air, water, and soil. Accumulation of certain PFAS has also been shown through blood tests to occur in humans and animals. Okay. Oh, let me just finish with, while the science surrounding potential health effects of bioaccumulation is developing. Of course it's developing. Since the 40s, that's your way of saying, yeah, it's happening, but we just don't know as much as we would like to know because we don't really want to know what's happening, because if we knew it was happening, we could hold companies and governments and entities responsible for poisoning us. So if you don't know what PFAS is, there you go. Here's a map. It's a quick map. I mean, they even said it. This is a sampling. This isn't even what it really looks like. You might be in here. Notice the East Coast, really bad. LA, really bad. Colorado, in an area, really bad. This is where I live, right here. Chicago, bad, etc. You can see this. But notice Hawaii, none detected in Hawaii. Huh, that's interesting. So no PFAS detected in Hawaii, but yet we found it in Alaska? None in Mississippi? None in New Mexico? Nevada? Look at all the states that none detected with a quick sampling. I find that very interesting. Where are you going with this, Eric? I don't know. I just think that's really interesting. It's like the most country areas don't seem to have a problem. Environmental health news. Since 2019, more than 320 toxic substances have been detected in U.S. drinking water systems, according to the Environmental Working Group. 320 toxic substances have been found. Those harmful chemicals are linked to cancer, adverse birth and reproduction outcomes, impaired brain development, and a revolving door of other deleterious health impacts. Is it possible that tap water could be making you sick? That's the emoji I just did. Remember that emoji where the guy is thinking? Yeah, I think you get my drift. Oh, but it gets better. 56 new chemicals added. They keep adding more chemicals every year. It's insane. And then I saw this. Currently, the EPA regulates more than 90 contaminants in drinking water. Oh, 90. A fraction of the agency's inventory of more than 85,000 chemicals that fall under the Toxic Substances Control Act. Did you just hear what I said? They regulate more than 90. Oh, thank you. Thank you for regulating more than 90. Because you only have 85,000 chemicals that you're not regulating for. The EPA's Office of Water has not added any new substances to its regulated list since 2006. You need to let that sink in. If water is so important and everybody knows it, and if you believe the government cares about your water, I just showed you they don't. That is so disconcerting. All right, I got to move on. I'm getting upset. Well, Eric, 85,000 chemicals. Uh-huh. And they only test for 90? Yeah. Here are some of them. This is the best. Hear me out. This is the best list I could find after, I don't know how long it took me to search a list of chemicals in tap water. This is from Minnesota, the state website of chemicals in the drinking water. I'm going to scroll through this, but notice a few of these. I'll stop and show you. Acetaminophen. Oh yeah, Tylenol is in your water. If you think there's more than Tylenol, you're right. Acrylamides, that's plastic. Look at all of this. Arsenic, bacteria, which some of those. Now, I will say, some of these in this list are not bad for you, but 90+% are bad for you. Some of these are actually good for you, like nano silver. But anyway, you get the drift of what I'm trying to say. These are really bad. You've seen a lot of these. Boron's not bad for you, but bisphenol A? Oh yeah. Cadmium, one of the worst things you can get in your body. There's chloroform again. And codeine. Oh, well, if you want to feel better, you got codeine and Tylenol. So therefore, drink lots of tap water and your headache will go away. And then they say copper's bad. Come on. Colloidal silver? Come on. But anyway, you see my point. DEET. There's a lot of things in here. But notice, there's so much. And of course, you know what's funny? There's fluoride in this list. But when you look up contaminants in drinking water or tap water, they never talk about fluoride. None of them list at all. Look at formaldehyde. Glyphosate. Oh, thank you. And here's the chlorine type products. And it goes on and on and on. Look at all of that. That is a small portion. There's so many more. Let's move on. So now you say, all right, Eric, I see what you're saying. So what do? How do you get clean water? How do you make your own clean water? What do? I'm just going to give you an example of ways you can purify your water. Not all of these are the best ways, but look how many there are. Boiling and solar disinfection, and I can add chlorine. I don't want to drink chlorine. Filter straws and chemical treatments and disinfection and iodine. I'm going to get into the good ones. All right? So if you're going to do it at your house, you can buy systems. They're called RO, or reverse osmosis. This is how a reverse osmosis works. Water goes in here, goes through a membrane, comes out purified. This membrane is super small. See it here? There's these little holes in the membrane. Bacteria or anything larger than 0.0005 nanometers. I think that's nanometers. It won't let that pass through. So it's literally filtering out larger debris. And most things are large because they're chemicals or substances that have a larger shape. And it lets the purified water come through. And then an RO machine will put it through things like carbon filtration and UV and maybe other things. Point is, this is a very, very good way, affordable way. And you can have something in your home. You can buy RO filtered water, but again, you're going to spend money. But this is, I think, the best way to clean water that is the most cost effective. And I use the system myself, by the way. This is the one that I use. It's made by Aqua. It's the countertop. Now, first, I just have to say quickly, I'm single and I don't need tons and tons of water. This works so perfect for my lifestyle. You may need more. You might need to buy a whole house RO filter system. You need to make sure that whatever system you're buying, they can prove to you how it's filtered. That's really important. What does it filter? Give me an analysis of how effective that RO system is. If you can get 98% really good, I think you're doing well. Either way, this is a super fantastic thing. I love this. It works really good. It is a proven product. Great reviews. The analysis is always right on. And I think for $360, you can't go wrong. Yeah, you're going to replace the filters however long it is while you're consuming however much water you're consuming, but they're affordable. Works really good. I'm not a big fan of adding the alkaline mineral boost filter to it because I want to add my own minerals. They are not adding the minerals that I would like. We're going to get into that. But essentially, this is a very good system. And look at it. You have a borosilicate carafe. What you do is you fill this with water from the tap. You put it in the back of the machine. It filters the water. When it's done, it's left with wastewater back here. You pour that out. You fill it again. Pretty simple. But I like the fact it's not a plastic carafe. You want this. This is important because if you're not going to do the bottled water thing, what is that? You see? Why is that bad? PFAS. Plastic. You don't want that. You're better off with something like this and where you have control of how the water is stored. See how big it is? It's not that bad. This is awesome. I love this thing. I am so happy that I purchased it. Fantastic. But this is my preferred way. And then I'll get into what you can do once the water is clean. The next way you could do it is if you don't want to spend $360 or more if you want the biggest system, is zero water. See this? Culligan makes it. This is a legit product. I'm telling you right now, this thing works. Their filtration system is amazing. So if you just want that pitcher on top of the counter to not take up a lot of space or throw it in the refrigerator, this is what you want right here. Any of these. Fantastic, works great. And I used to use this and the water is super clean tasting. Very, very good analysis. Probably the best you can get. There might be one or two others on the market, but all those Brita and all that other Pure One, they're garbage. They do not work like this does. You can test this water for the TDS, that's the total dissolved solids, and you will find that this is better than anything else that you can buy. That's a fact. And by the way, I don't have an affiliate link for any of these people. This is just me telling you what I've seen over all my years of doing this stuff. If you want something portable, you can get these filtering water bottles. So it doesn't matter where you're at. You can fill it with tap water at I don't care, a gas station. And then it filters the water for you. So you're not worrying about buying filtered water and, you walk into a convenience store or whatever, and you're like, well, which is the best water here? And it's already in plastic. You go, hey, do you have a faucet? Like, yeah, right there. And you just fill it up and make your own water. Eric, this one you're talking about, this is Grail. It's $85. It's a filter and a water bottle. It's fantastic. I own this one. I own it in this color, but these are absolutely incredible. And the way that they work is insanely good. This is how it's done. You put the water in it, you press this through, and then it doesn't matter where you get your water from. And then look at this. So the water gets pressed through it, it filters it. All of the junk is gone. You press it, it takes 8 seconds to clean your water, and you're done. Then if you wanted to add minerals after that, you just open your lid and add some minerals. This you can use literally anywhere. It doesn't even matter. You out in the wilderness or at your house. These are great. It's a little bit looking like it's a survival product because technically it is. But these literally clean, they clean so well. You have clean water anywhere you want it with a quality product that is easy to use. It flows properly. I could go on and on. It's awesome. All right, let's got to move on. Okay, so let's say hits the fan. There's one way that you can filter your water that is amazing. I'm gonna say a few things. This YouTube right here, Tiny House and Off-Grid Resources, did a video on this where you use, and this is not just him, a lot of people do this, a terracotta pot. You know what those are, right? It's that orangey red type of plant pot. Well, that's a clay, and water passes through it. So you can watch this video, but essentially you have a container, and then you put one of those in it, and you can make your own. It doesn't matter what it looks like. You fill this with water, and it filters through. So you get to a point where he pours the water in, and then anyway, you can watch the video. Water seeps through it, and it basically cleans out everything. You just need to make sure that if you can get a terracotta pot that is not really bad clay, like, really, really bad, maybe even ask pottery places near you if they'll make you one with really good quality clay. But the fact that that is a survival, that is a really a serious, hits the fan type of way to clean your water. I love this. This is amazing. And it's super cheap, but it works. That is genius. And by the way, cultures all around the world do this, especially in poor cultures. They can filter their water using terracotta clay. It works. All right, so now you're saying, I got clean water, but Eric, I want like all the minerals that I'm missing from the spring. Well, here's one source that you can get that from. This is known as Trace Minerals Research Company. Amazing. Their product comes from Utah. It's underneath the Salt Lake. They get all their minerals from there. You go to Trace Minerals Research. I'm sorry, traceminerals.com now, and get something like their Trace Mineral Drops or their 40,000 volts. They've proven that you can put a power and ground wire and light a light bulb using their product. That's how much energy it imparts to you. Great stuff. There's 5 or 6 products they have. You can pick any of them and add those to your water. And of course, because they have different amounts of sodium, potassium, and magnesium, and chloride and stuff, you can pick whichever one that you want for what you need for your health conditions or, your sport or anything. But my favorite is, and what I use every single day, I've spoken of this before, is Dr. Cowan's Marine Plasma Seawater. It's made by Ibiza. I'm sure that's Formentera. But this is insanely good. He's made it even better. Price is good. Sometimes runs out because lots of people use this. So let me show you what this is. Ibiza is structured seawater that's been structured and cold filtered by the ocean and plankton. This is amazing. Structured seawater with molecular coherence improves your mineral absorption, your hydration. It's done by the ocean. And let me show you why this is amazing. Ready? So this is really cool. See these plankton? So they take in these areas of the ocean that have lots of minerals. They're like zones within the water that just happen to have a lot of minerals. It's not everywhere is the same. You think it would be. These plankton take in these minerals, consume them, and then, you know what? And they end up creating a more rich and more available and absorbable form of minerals. So then you've got a situation, they see this, and then the plankton come in and create this. Okay, so they're plankton blooms. What they end up doing is creating a homeostatic blueprint. Watch this. These are minerals, okay? All right, check this out. Your intestines absorb this mineral plasma through passive diffusion because the organic minerals from the ocean were pre-digested by plankton. So you don't have to digest them. You just absorb them just like that. Like, that's amazing. Phenomenal. There's all kinds of stuff here that tell you about it, but essentially, let's just quickly hit this. Hypertonic. When you take this into your mouth, it's immediately absorbed. Put it into water, immediately absorbed, right through your mouth or through your digestive system. Isotonic means that the concentration in this is the same as blood, which is really important for that homeostasis balance I was just talking about. That's amazing. What else do you know that is isotonic, which is the same as your blood plasma? That's amazing. So yes, you're just like the ocean. And then it's also hypotonic, which means that when you add it to things like juice or water or anything else, it actually mineralizes that beverage. So you have 3 ways of amplifying minerals in your body. That's the closest you can get to your blood. Is there a better product? I don't know. I don't think there is right now. I mean, somebody might know of it. If you want to take it to the next level, I spoke about this a few times. There's such a thing called an Analemma wand. Analemma has something to do with the sun. I think it's the figure 8 that the sun makes in its cycle. Well, anyway, check this out. It's a wand, and in this glass, specific crystal glass is a very specific water that takes a very, I think it's a year or 2 to make this liquid in here, and it imparts energy into anything you put this into. So if you want to structure your water and make it more bioavailable, this will do that for you. Yes, it's proven. Here's some reviews from doctors. I don't know if they're paid or not. I highly doubt it. Here's some list of the things that it can do for you, which is everything from cellular systems to, your gut and your brain and things like that. But they've done actual research, real clinical trial research, significantly increases cellular energy through ATP, like 20% after 2 months. Proven to increase the coherent water in the body. If you know anything about coherent water, this is really fun to know about. Improves the gut microbiome by 16%. Out of 88% of the participants. Yes, and my favorite, look at this. Analemma water visibly impacts the brain. So here's the before using structured water with this wand, and here's what the brain looks like after. I'm sorry. Is that not something that you find intriguing? By the way, these were done on twins. They actually put money towards case studies, clinical trials. This is amazing. And they've also shown that they had positive changes that measured 17 out of 19 participants that changed their biological age by 12 years. After just 3 months of using this. They've got other products too. I own it. I will use it all the time, no matter what. This is an amazing thing. And no, I'm not an affiliate. I'm not selling anything. There's one last way that you can impart energy into your water and make it better. And anybody can do this. I don't care what water you use. This is a really, really good thing to do. You can put it in a glass jar, has to be glass, or just in a glass like this. Maybe put a cover on it so you don't get dust and God knows what in there, but put water in the sun. Sun imparts energy into water. And when you do it through glass, it's even better. This will charge your water. It also structures your water. It's a little slower than the Analemma wand takes in a glass like this, would take like 20 seconds. This is going to take 20 minutes. This is a really good thing to do to your water. After all, that's what happens in rivers and such. Well, maybe this helped you understand that you can filter your own water, have control over that, and then put whatever minerals you want back in there if you want minerals in there. I showed you some affordable things and also gave you some science behind that. Also showed you that, yeah, there's a lot of contaminants in your water. It's not good for you. I didn't even get into how bad most of the bottled waters are and whether or not they're clean water or just tap water. I don't need to do that. That's been done so many times. This is a really important thing. This is the basis of what you should do for your life. So I would say spend some time looking at the things I just pointed out here. Change the water you drink. It's very, very important. You can feel the difference. They have clinical trials on good quality water and what happens to the human body. I don't know what else more I can say for a small episode. I could make this thing 3 hours. As always, thank you for listening. Really appreciate everybody. If you have a topic, let me know. Otherwise, yeah, let's see you in a few days. Take care of yourselves.